In dreaming Mirandor, I once lost my soul to a heathen monk in a drunken game of chance. I wandered bleakly for months, looking for it on a plateau of pain. When I found it, I liberated it from the grasp of the perverted priest, using my sword of jade. Hello everyone, welcome to Bruno's Geek Reviews. Just as a side note, this is going to be the last, for now, of the D&D variants episodes. Why? Because there's more D&D variants I could talk about, but at some point I would be repeating myself a little bit. Because a lot of those variants are retro clones, or they're games I'm not gonna buy right now. So, as they say, talk about what you know. I wouldn't go and start talking about a game that I barely glanced at, or at least like tried once, or So because of that, I'll be pausing the D&D variants episodes, maybe forever, maybe at some point I'll have another variant I want to discuss. But I will be, however, reviewing more tabletop role-playing games, because some people seem to enjoy those episodes I've made, and I've enjoyed doing them, so simple as that. Today we're going to talk about Crypts Things, the swords and sorcery role-playing game. And this, interestingly enough, I almost didn't count it as a D&D variant, because it's not traditional D&D. This is for if you want to play, a Conan type of fantasy. No elves, no dwarves, like humans against, serpent people, Lovecraftian monsters, things like that. But I didn't include it because in the end the mechanic is from D&D. It's actually a variant. It's a variant of D&D. Crypts and Things is a variant of Swords and Wizardry, as it says here. Swords and Wizardry and this game have an interesting aspect, which is maybe the simplest version of D&D I've seen yet, in that instead of skills and many saving throws and whatever, you have a single saving throw. And in Swords and Wizardry, it's not exactly like that. But in this one, even your skills are from that saving throw. So if you want a game that's really easy for new players, this is it. Now about the game, one little nitpick, I guess. Well, I guess they wanted to match other editions of D&D and variants and whatever. It comes with two rules for hitting things: the armor class, either the negative armor class, which is basically the tackle, the 2-hit armor class, whatever it was, from older editions, or the positive armor class from the 3.x onwards. So they've included both, and I mean, yeah, choice is always good, but I think they should have just stuck to the positive armor class, which is simple. Like, you just roll and you get a number or higher, you got it. Because if you use the negative one, look at this. This is a table to see if you hit using the negative armor class rule. I mean, this would slow down a game. I mean, why would you even... And the funny thing is that the positive armor class is the optional rule, if you will. It's like, it comes like second in the stats and everything. Anyway, that's a little nitpick, because in the end it does come with that useful rule. Now, the classes in this. You have the barbarian, you have the fighter, you have the magician, they call it, and the thief or rogue. Wait, what do they call it in this game? Because at some point you get mixed up. Some games call it a thief, other games call it a rogue. Yeah, it's the thief in this game, yeah. And basically the magician in this has access to basically all the spells, like cleric, arcane, it doesn't matter, cleric or wizard in other games of D&D. Here the magician has access to all of them, and the spells are divided into white, gray, and black magic. And basically when you use darker spells, like to harm people, to curse and like really dark stuff, it can hurt your sanity. And yes, this game comes with sanity rules. They're much simpler than the ones seen in Call of Cthulhu, They're not the same. Like they didn't like just grab the rules from Call of Cthulhu and put them there. They're simpler. But again, like I think it's a strong thing that this game has. I think it's a strength that it does a lot of things well with very simple rules. Really, you know, it has sanity rules. It has solid monsters in it. You can roll and see like from your background, your life story. You roll randomly and it gives you like kind of like your what happened to you in your life so far before you started adventuring, and it gives you bonuses for different things. So you know, there's it's kind of like a fun old school way to have a character background, but that you didn't choose, and then you kind of like make a story from that. It's different, but it sounds like a lot of fun. It has a lot of charm to it. The art varies. There's some really nice art, and then there's some really amateurish one. So I would even say like some of the less professional art hurts the book a little bit, but in the end, like there's also like, don't get me wrong, look, this guy's cool, yeah. And out of respect, I'm not gonna show the one that I feel personally is not as strong, but because it varies from person to person. But yeah, look, this is cool too. Like I'm not saying it's awful. I'm just saying some places don't have art that is as strong. But there's some really cool monsters. You get really like a cool vibe, and this game is not for, you know, do-gooder paladins. This game is for rogues. Ah, yeah, that's why I remember now, that's why they call it the thief instead of the rogue, because they say in this game every character is a rogue. Every character can try, I mean, the thieves have bonuses to make them better at it, but every character can try to steal things, can try to backstab. Every character can do these things. Like, this is really like a gray area, you know, like the morality of the characters, kind of like Conan, you know. And even the thief is kind of like more martial than other D&D versions. All characters can use weapons, except the magician can't do as much damage with the weapons as the other classes, for example. But it's really more of a kind of like darker, but in a pulp way. Not like Lamentations of the Flame Princess, where it was kind of darker in the way that it's really horror and dangerous. In this case, it's also horror, it's also dangerous, but in a way where your character is supposed to grab that axe and it's supposed to go at it, you know, and bash skulls and go adventuring. It's not really made to be careful, you know, you're supposed to be confident. Kind of like, well, I mean, Conan is the archetype, really. But they also, it's also inspired by characters like the Grey Mouser, but I never read his stories, so I couldn't say personally. It's just what I'm parroting that much. It's really, yeah, here it says background and setting. Crypts and Things is based more upon the sword and sorcery works of Clark Ashton Smith, Fritz Leiber, and Robert E. Howard than the more traditional Tolkien-esque fantasy. So that tells you everything you need to know. And just as a side note, like just the fact that here they make the difference between hit points and then constitution damage. And when you're out of hit points, that's kind of like hit points are your luck, your kind of like your stamina to, you know, dodge blows and things like that. When you're out of it, then it hits your constitution. That's where the real damage is. And that's the only damage that spells can heal. But if you want to regain hit points, and that's very fitting with this game, that's just the thing. You drink a strong ale or strong alcohol and you regain some hit points, you know, to a limit per day. You can't do it all the time. But it really fits the setting. It really fits the attitude. You know, it encourages you to play while listening to kind of like metal and old school rock, like you know, hard rock and stuff like that. And yeah, it's a different feel. I would almost not classify it as D&D if it wasn't for the fact that it uses D&D rules, you know. And hey, you know, TSR back in the day used D&D to make Conan games, so I guess it's not that much of a stretch, and every person has their own campaign setting. But yeah, the monsters you'll find in this, and kind of like the attitude of the book. It's really fun. The rules are simple and accomplish a lot with the simplicity. It's really interesting. The magicians can go crazy if they use dark magic, black magic. Sorry. So you know, I do recommend it if you like that kind of like idea of like players kind of like being backstabbing rogues or characters with very moral codes. You know, not exactly the squeaky clean goody two shoes heroes that you think of in other. You know, you don't play this game to play Aragorn. You know, you play this game to kind of play like roguish characters like who are cut above from the rest, of course, but you know are kind of like maybe more realistic in the way of the attitude that an adventurer would actually have. You know, if someone was a treasure hunter and all that, how they would behave. I think it's more in keep with that, more in keep with the Conan stories where he was kind of like an outlaw and things like that. So yeah, I recommend it. It's a lot of fun, and no more D&D variants for now, for the time being, because like I said, like at some point the retro clones start looking a lot alike, except for small details. Then it becomes a lot of matter of personal opinion beyond the simple facts. I could get into stuff like Hackmaster, etc., but I'm not gonna spend money on those because I think I already have enough D&D type games for my needs. Like, you know, I have Pathfinder for the more modern, crunch, rules-heavy game that you use miniatures with. I have Castles and Crusades for a more classic type of D&D, you know, where it's more, you don't need the miniatures absolutely, only when you need to. You don't need to keep track of feats, stuff like that. If I wanted like rules like, or Lamentations of the Flame Princess, sorry, either of those. Especially if I want to run a horror game, I think I'll go with Lamentations of the Flame Princess, or you know, or maybe a type of setting I want to try out. It's again, and this for like I said, like you know, a game where it's mostly only humans for players, and kind of like Serpent Man, really pulp stuff. I got this one, but. Like I said, I'll be reviewing other role-playing games, so I hope you stick with me. Thanks for watching.